Well, greetings, everybody. Uh, Man, Satan is quite a wily adversary. Her ways, I've never seen this before. And I've forgiven her for it, but, it appears, that today is one of the worst days of my life. I really felt bad the last couple of weeks, and I'm not talking health-wise, I'm talking spiritual-wise, because I thought I lost a very dear friend, Angela, also known as Chosen Israel, and I do apologize here. And I'm going to show you that though it wasn't my fault, I'm going to take the blame for it because it appears as though it was. It's just been a trick of the adversary. And everybody out there, please, I hope that you'll forgive me for these things. I've said all the time that when I'm notified of a comment that I'm going to answer you, regardless of what it is, unless it's vulgar or something. And there's only been a few that I've ever had to remove from the channel because of the vulgarity, or the insisting on false teachings, as Arturo had done, going to individuals actually and trying to spread lies and rumors and deceit. And I warned him, and finally he's the only one I ever removed from the channel that he cannot comment again. But if it wasn't for Timothy P, and I'm sorry, Timothy, man, this is horrible, but Timothy P had wrote me and asked me if I had, something against him because I haven't been answering his last few comments. And you can see here, I've had 19 new subscribers in the last 28 days, so that should give Satan, plenty of ammo to come against me on, because that was 19 more people in the last 28 days that are seeking truth. And, I appear as a liar in this instance, and I do apologize, but I'm here on my dashboard channel, or my channel dashboard, and you can see here in comments, it doesn't show anything here, where normally, if there was spam, it would show there were spam. But I'll click on this to show you here, and it'll say up here, likely spam 28. I mean, even Gary Filippini, I'm sorry, man, I didn't get this comment from you apparently. And all these others, but you could see these are from a week ago. I don't recall answering ever Karen here, but you can see down here where there's so many from her, or no, I had the same K, but it's somebody else. Knowledge, I'm sorry, I haven't answered you either, because look at all these, all your comments were considered is spam, but this was like from 2 months ago, and as it goes down, the dates get further and further, and I wasn't notified of these. Timothy, you can see here, 3 months ago, you wrote me, and I didn't see your comment, so I can understand why you thought I was missing out 3 months ago, maybe. Truth Seeker had written and considered a spam. And here's Chosen Israel, Angela here, and she wrote, and I contacted her, but that was from 4 months ago. Even here, my own comments considered a spam, okay? So I don't know what to say about this, and all these from Chosen Israel as well, from 5 months ago and such. I could see Satan was trying to affect her against me. Even back then, look at all these from Angela. These are 6 months ago and such. And me again, comments that I wrote that are spam. But I assure you, Angela, and I'll show you here, that every single one that I was notified that you sent me, I absolutely answered. But I really feel horrible about these comments that I didn't even notice. And there's actually more than 28 comments if anyone's taking the time to comment. Emerald Order, I mean, forgive me, my friend, David, this is horrible. Sarah May Lowe, she wrote me several, and said it was great video and everything. Now, a while back, I had also brought out where, I was getting a bunch of views. And I'm telling you, when I clicked on this earlier, I didn't have this many. And this is even from a year ago. These are things that were sent. Here's Yeshua's disciple, she wrote, and I didn't get it. These were all considered spam. And this is way more than, like it says, likely spam 28, so, and it didn't show anything here at the beginning, these last couple weeks even, because I just wasn't notified. This is a week ago. 3 weeks ago is Rosita Fernandez. But, as I'm saying, it wasn't as though I wasn't notified. I was. Here in this video, which is... No, come on, thing. Why don't you come back here where you should? This is how it looks when you bring it up. This is the R, the CV, and so on with the 19 judgments. Any who believes it is. And this was from March 17th, 2020. And Angela, please look, this was from 3 weeks ago. You wrote and said, Shalom Al, and I wrote back at Chosen Israel. Well, Angela, so glad to know you were still kicking. How you holding up, dear? I've been praying for you, every day and every night. Peace. And see, Angela had been away for a while because she was taking a rest from videos and such, and she told me, and I said, well, hey, you need to get rest, from these things, and get your mind sorted out, and by all means, don't forget me, And she came back. I was so pleased when she did 3 weeks ago. She comes back, she writes, Timothy P. Road, man, brother, your videos are so on point. I hope I can get some direction for more videos like you. Agape, love, my brother. And I told him, I says, ain't my fault, bro. I don't actually recall having much of a choice since our king called me out. And going on, and you can read the comment for you yourself there. But Angela, you can see 3 weeks ago, it says right here, you wrote me 3 weeks ago, and 3 weeks ago I wrote you back. But then Angela writes back here, and I know there's some comments of hers that didn't show up because I even, replied to them, and I can't find them. But anyway, here, this one was from How to Have Sprouts and Vegetable Hygiene Even Under Martial Law. This was from March 30th, 2020. I had 29 views. For a while there, I was getting up close to 100 views on some of these or so, some more. Then all of a sudden the numbers dropped, but we discovered it was, when I would leave up, say, this screen here with 29 views, then I would refresh it, I'd be down to, 20 views or something. So I was being robbed of views, and I forgave Satan for that and went on. But here, Chosen Israel, Angela, please listen. This is from a week ago. This is 1 week ago. You wrote me and you said, hey, big brother, how are you? And 1 week ago, this, within an hour, I believe it was, I answered you and said, it Chosen Israel, I am doing great now that I see you are all right. I think you stay away too long just to get me praying for you extra, eh? Oh, and your next question, almost like asking me, do I look fat in this dress? Scary, but I still love you and missed you a whole lot. Now, what I was speaking of here, the next question being scary like this, is when you wrote me back and you said, why are you not talking to me? And you can see, now when I edit these videos, it's because in between these, there might be 4 or 5 spaces. So after I go back, I edit most every comment I make so I could draw it down, instead of big empty spaces in between there and here in between paragraphs. So that's the only reason I edited, but my editing was a week ago, right after you wrote me, dear, and you said, why are you not talking to me? And I put, Chosen Israel, why Angela? I would rather the fleas from 1,000 camels invading my armpits than to ignore you, my dear. Don't you know that you are my scream in my ice cream, my ache in my chocolate cake, and my ole in my jelly roll? Why, I'd rather lick an electric outlet than to keep silent towards you. There has been no sunshine since you've been gone. Man, now I have made myself hungry. Think I'll grab a bite to eat and hit the hay. I hope you've been doing well and staying warm. We get a day of 50 once in a while, and nights go down to freezing. And worse yet, the corona things, has made it to upstate New York here. So they were alleging. I know some people who are contaminated with it, but they could have just had the flu, and being told that it's whatever it is. Says, but thankfully, not sick. I hope it stays that way. Hopefully, you've been keeping yourself from all that jazz and staying safe while getting ready for Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Man, now I'm real hungry. I got some bone soup with beans and rice I think I will need to warm up here. I love you, Angela, and you're always in my prayers. I haven't once forgotten about you. Now, right after this, I don't know where it's at. I don't know if it was removed. Satan's a wily adversary. But you had spoken and said, fine, you don't want to talk to me. I won't be back or something like that. And I wrote, no, please don't do this. I'm answering you, Angela. What's going on? I didn't understand, but I apologize. I ask you forgive me, Angela, because I thought evil of you, thinking that you were going to use me as an excuse to turn from the truth. And apparently it's the farthest thing from that. And I pray you forgive me for thinking evil of you the same way I pray you forgive, me as well for your thinking evil of me, thinking I was rejecting you or something. And that's the farthest from the truth. Now here I had, this is explaining Jeremiah 23, no instant salvation, just lying teachers. And it was on April 10th, 2020. And Timothy P. writes me, he says, thanks, my brother. Please pray that my wife opens her eyes to Hebrews 8 and starts to observe the Sabbath. You're truly being used as a mouthpiece for our King. And I write him back saying, Timothy P., hey, my brother, here is the plan. You get her in front of my videos and you press play, and I will then speak. But also know that I believe that I know who you are as well, another mouthpiece for our King. I know you pretty well, and our King, well, he knows you better. And you are always, you and yours, in my prayers every stinking day and stinking night till I quit breathing, and long as I don't get dementia or something like that, eh? But Timothy P. wrote me 2 days ago on that, and you can see right here that I answered him 2 days ago. And then again over here on Jeremiah 23, finishing up, and I think Satan woke me. This was April 11th, 2020. Down here, Timothy P. writes again, 1 day ago, great video, have a great Sabbath. I write him back 1 day ago. And there was a great big space, between, the bottom line and where I tell people peace. Unless you're there for war, then I don't put my peace there. And sometimes I'll even say, hey, you do not deserve a peace. And you'll have no peace unless you repent on some of the comments. Very few, but there are some. And I wrote him back and said, Timothy P., Shabbat Shalom, my brother. I got a pot of red beans warming up in the oven, like 180 or so it won't boil. Messed up on that so many times in the past by warming it up on the stovetop, standing there stirring whatever to ensure it don't boil, and then whammo, had a bathroom duty call and fled to answer the calling. Got back and what I was so careful not to boil was bubbling away. And so I warm everything up in the oven now on low heat. Let it get for a couple hours to fully heat up, or let it go for a few hours, let it heat up. Would you were here to chow down with me here in a while, my brother. I'm working on getting ready to get another video out. just a few more comments to answer, and then I will ask our King to guide my lips into bringing out what he wants, as he wants, eh? Love you and prayed for you and yours first thing when my knees hit the floor at around 1:30. So I'm answering these comments, but my brother just wrote me back, and I'd show you, but it would show his email address, and I don't want to do that. Where he was asking me, he says, did I do something wrong? No, Timothy P., I love you, man, and I love you, Angela. Gary, and Omega Truth, and everybody else, please. I've told you before that if I get notified, I'm going to comment, and it's just one of those wily adversary moments when I do comment. And I've said many times, that the only way Saint can really, really hurt me anymore is going after my loved ones, and I sparingly try to have loved ones. I mean, there's some that are associates, but some of you that come to these videos, I truly, truly, truly just can't wait till we make it in the kingdom. I told Angela many times, I'm waiting for you to, you to pass me the mashed potatoes, and I'll pass over the wine, I'm looking forward to being in the kingdom with you. So, I mean, one night, or one day, can't remember which, it was before Tabernacles, I woke up on the floor, and my front tooth here was, I could move it back and forth, and for weeks it was hurting, but that wasn't great enough. The last day of the Feast of Tabernacles, I went to get out of bed, out of my tent that I had set up, and I had a pinched nerve that kept me in my chair for weeks. It was nothing but total agony, and Satan was trying to get me to curse our Heavenly Father through his righteous Son so that I could just die like, Job's marvelous little woman there, his bride, was trying to tell him, hey, just curse Yahweh and die, get over these sufferings and everything. And it's horrible. Now, I do want to say something here, besides all that, please forgive me, I pray. I forgive Satan the devil. You're all my witness here. I forgive you, Satan, for what you've done. I know it's just your job and your duty to do so, but she reaches out now to hurt those that I love, And Angela, I do love you. I really do. I mean, we've never met before or anything, and we don't have to meet here. We're going to meet in the kingdom, I believe, and please don't be upset with me. I've been answering you, I have been diligently answering you, and I wasn't notified of anything being spam. Usually when something is spam, it'll show up on here, down in here, that something is spam. But nothing. I had no notification of it, and Satan is reaching out to attack those that I love by even cutting off my comments. And there's nothing worse than being ignored, There was a study done where they took rice and they put, just rice in a bag. They also did it with strawberries and such. But with the rice, what they did was they took 3 bottles of rice with water in it. One, they kept saying, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. To another that was off in a different place, they say, I love you, I love you, I love you. Into the other jar, they just totally ignored. And the one they ignored was so nasty after, just a week or so. It had this greenish slime and everything. The one that said they hated had mold on it, but didn't look anything as bad as the one that was ignored. And the one they said I love you to didn't have anything wrong with it. It was perfect. It was just like the day they put it in there. So I do know, and I'm not ignoring you. I'm not ignoring anybody, but it hurts. It really does. It tore me up, and I had to get over it because I was using too much toilet paper, and that's a valuable commodity right now, to be wiping up tears. So I'm drying it out so I could use it again later, but I apologize. But anyway, let me close this off, and please know, people, I'm thankful for those, who did go ahead and, you know, sign up to the channel. I thank you very much. I'd like to get up to 1,000 views so I could speak things face to face and still answer comments when they come, and I'm doing that. But and I apologize, even though Satan's a wily adversary and her ways are pretty clever, and boy, I'll tell you what, she's reached out to hurt those that I love, and even Angela's left my site, the channels. And I always look forward to her comments, just like I do each and every one of your comments. And I do answer, But even when I answer, my comments aren't being seen by you somehow, and the views of, they drop off, they take my views, and I forgive Satan for that as well. But please understand this. This is in First Kepha 5:8, and I don't want to say First Peter because they changed his name from Kepha to in Simon, to the god of penises, so that he could be there in the Vatican, of course. And he never was. He never was a pope or anything of that sort. He was after the order of Melchizedek, after the order of our king. But anyway, it says here, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom she may devour. And I tell you, I got physically ill. I got sick in my stomach when Timothy P. wrote me, and it showed me what was going on. But I'm totally thankful that Timothy P. had my email, that he could write me and let me know these things and ask, hey, brother, what's up? Did I say something wrong? No, Timothy, you didn't. You never have, that I know of. And if you have, I'll correct you. I mean, there's some things that we didn't see eye to eye on, and I pointed out the scriptural facts, and you said, wow, I didn't see it like that before. And there's nothing wrong, there to cause any anger or animosity toward you in any way either. Anyway, it says, that the adversary is seeking whom she may devour. Resist her, steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same sufferings are experienced by your brotherhood in the world. But may the Father of all pardon and acquittal, this here grace, this is one of Zeus's 3 naked dancing daughters. All 3 of them coming to do a lap dance for those that are saved and always saved. But Yahweh, he gives a pardon and acquittal from our sins. There is no grace. There is grace. Zeus's daughters, 3 naked dancing daughters. But, even in the Old Testament, this grace has been mistranslated there as well. Our Father offers us a pardon and acquittal if we'll repent. And that's what it's talking. May our Father give you the pardon and acquittal who called us to his eternal glory by Yahshua our King. Now, please pay attention to this as well, because I'm doing this right now, but it's been a whole lot easier the last year. But it says, after you have suffered a while, perfect, establish, strengthen, and settle you. Okay, so, but may the Father of all pardon and acquittal, who called us to his eternal glory by Yahshua Messiah, after you have suffered a while, perfect, establish, strengthen, and settle you. After a while, these things will get a little easier, because you're getting, pains and sufferings and sorrows from the adversary. But when you experience it more and more, it's a little easier. It's just this is the first time that this has taken place that I'm aware of. And I don't know how many people I showed, how many people in the past I didn't answer that showed they'd commented in the spam where it wasn't even put on. Otherwise, I would have answered you. And to him be the glory and the dominion forever and ever. And, I don't know how else to say it. I'm horrified. I'm sick in my stomach. I'm feeling horrible on this last day of the feast. It's 2:47 in the morning here. and it took me a little while to get myself together to where I could ask your forgiveness, and I pray that you do. I never meant to hurt anybody. I didn't, but because I did, I'm going to take the blame for it, even though Satan's the one that brought these things about, her and her minions, to attack those who I love. I will take, the responsibility for it, and ask that you forgive me. And, you've done nothing wrong with feeling though you've been rejected, feeling ignored, though I didn't do it. The effects are still there. If I didn't mean to slam your thumb in the car door and you're standing there with your thumb in the car door, I'm asking your forgiveness. And people, please remember to eat your unleavened bread today. Last day of the feast here, started at the sundown prior here. And, may our King have mercy on us all. Please do forgive me. Shabbat Shalom.